Morning, everyone. Great. I mean, this is.
Oh my God, did I say Joe? I meant Rob.
Oh, that's all right. No problem, Shelley. I don't even know if I can concentrate with this view.
Rob came up. I'm so sorry. That's totally my fault.
No worries. So as we already started to talk about, AI is revolutionizing the landscape of the advertising industry, offering these amazing, unprecedented capabilities for us to target and engage audiences in such a precise way. And I'm extremely excited to be here with Raja today to kick off this great agenda for the day, to talk through AI, not only how it's poised to enhance today's current marketing strategies, but also what it's going to do to shape the future of our industry. So really looking forward to it. So going off of that, just to lay the foundation of what we're going to talk about today, what shifts and trends are you seeing in AI with the marketing and advertising industry today?
So before I just jump into it, if you permit me, I want to just acknowledge where is Shelley. Shelley is here. Now he is my guru and he's my teacher, and I must say that a whole bunch of stuff I was learning about technology was from him and from his newsletters. Firstly, thank you so very much.
That's
really
great.
appreciate
Yep.
it, Shelley. So here is the thing, right? When I was trying to do research to write my book 2 years back, at the time already MasterCard was using AI. And I thought that I saw some potential of how it can be accentuated and taken to a different level within the company. And every single area of the marketing ecosystem, starting from how do you get consumer insights, how do you convert those insights into specific actions or campaigns or promotions or whatever, how do you convert those into creative was the one missing piece at that time. But now, with Gen AI, even that is sort of taken care of, right? In terms of writing the copy, I have personally seen, this is one of the things I feel very sad about. I always prided myself in writing poetry. I write, in my self-assessment, I write quite well. And now, ChatGPT has made me completely useless because it is writing much better than I do. I take probably about half an hour, 45 minutes to write 2 stanzas. It gives 20 paragraphs or 20 stanzas in just a matter of few seconds. But taking it to the copy, I have actually done this very nerdily. What did the agency do? What would I have done? And what is ChatGPT doing? It's right there at the top. It's scary. The extent of, you said it's testable, Shelley. And my personal sample of one, what I have seen, it was scary good. Same thing, I have seen some press releases written, and I have fed that same press release and said, how do you improve this? And what it came up with was much, much more superior. So across the entire ecosystem, and in terms of media buying is more automation, but there's a lot of AI as well involved in it because it keeps learning and improving. And it does A/B testing as well. Media buying, measurement of ROI, every single area AI is coming so dramatically in. And I'll just give one example to just demonstrate the extent of impact that we have seen. In the context of B2B marketing, we respond to RFPs. So for example, Citibank or Bank of America, they float an RFP, and we respond to that RFP. In the olden days, the RFP would go to the salespeople, they sit on it, they work on it. It takes them approximately 7 weeks to get to what they call as draft 0, to answer all the questions in a good way, with the latest information about the company, about the products, about our case studies, use cases, all these good things. And that we said, can we get into Gen AI with that? We fed all the RFPs into the system, trained the engine on all of those. We call it the RFP factory. Factory because now it's able to churn RFP responses in less than 4 hours. So where is 7 weeks and where is 4 hours? That is scary good. Yeah. On one hand, it is exciting. On the other hand, it's also scary.
Right. Yeah. No, absolutely. You mentioned you guys have been trailblazers in this category. Over 10 years, you've been using AI. 5 years in marketing strategies. So, how are you seeing it transforming marketing strategies and making them more personal and direct?
Yeah, I think one of the holy grails of marketing, I guess, is personalization as well as context awareness. So you are not only tailoring something to an individual, but to an individual in a particular context. And if you really do that, that's what I call as effective real-time marketing. Today, humanly, it is impossible to do always on real-time marketing. And real-time marketing gets you results which are probably 8 to 10 times that of what you would get without real-time marketing, which is asynchronous marketing. And AI is actually going to give you that. And we have, I'll give you one tangible example. So we created what we call as very creatively as the digital marketing engine. So that particular engine, what it does is this: it listens to the entire social media, whatever is happening around the world, and it predicts what is going to be the next micro trend. So we all talk about trending topics, but we are not talking about trends. Trend is backward looking also, or current. But as we talk of future, so what is the next micro trend going to be? And those micro trends typically last for less than 3 days. When we predict the micro trend, it goes to the repository of everything that we have got to ever communicate to our consumers or customers, whether it is simple advertising messages, it could be promotions, it could be discounts, whatever else it is that we would want to do. So it will judge by itself which is the most appropriate offering from MasterCard that is suitable to that particular micro trend. Takes that, creates a simple digital still ad or banner, and then it goes and sees where this trend is actually likely to happen and goes to those specific media, buys that media. And then once it places, it does A/B testing. And A/B testing, it determines and optimizes the ad, and after that, it measures the response rate. So this itself, we are seeing anywhere between 4 to 8 times already without real-time marketing I'm talking about, right? And that's the kind of impact that we are actually witnessing, and totally transformative, totally.
That's great. Yeah, so you dovetailed into the next question, which was going to be about the micro trends. So other than using them to create ad units, what other executions are you using those insights for?
Whole bunch. Like, for example, we have got an activation of a sponsorship. Activation of a sponsorship can be done like, for example, everything is pre-done and then you just leave it at that, right? But if you want to engage the consumers, engage the fans of that particular sport or of that particular passion, you need real-time assessment of how things are happening. And we tried it in a couple of locations, and we are still at the very early stages, trying to understand how our advertising communication, our customer engagement can happen using the engine and in the social media for that particular event, for that cohort of consumers. Wow. And that's sort of what it does is, today if my sponsorship ROI, for example, hypothetically, is say 1:2. This, even if it takes it to 2.2 or 2.3, that's a 10 to 15% lift in the ROI, which is pretty substantial. And that's very exciting.
That's incredible. We talked a little bit about speed. That's obviously crucial. An RFP response in 4 hours instead of 7 weeks is unbelievable on the sales side. What about on the marketing side when you're talking about creative creation and execution, going from sometimes months to get a creative from storyboard to being ready to be out in the marketplace to sometimes hours now? How is that affecting the decision-making process?
So I'll start with a small story. At one point in time, a few years back, when I was talking to our agency, McCann, they were sort of complaining, saying that, look, the kind of briefs that we get are not really of a high standard. And when you tell, for example, if there is a brief, say some junior person who has just got into the marketing area writes a brief, they say, I want to have a brief to talk about contactless payment. And for this, I want you to show 3 people standing on a beach, eating ice cream, and one person is paying. One is in red color, one is in yellow color, one is in orange color in terms of the dresses. They say, is this really a brief? So I was, of course, horrified, and that sort of gave us the opportunity to start retraining our team, particularly the youngsters. And this is the first application I see from marketing perspective. How do you even give the right brief? So if you have the brief and run it through the AI engine, and then see, do you make sense out of it, or how can I improve it? And they don't even have to write. They can just say, these are the criteria that I'm looking at. This is what I want. The better you articulate, the better the brief is. Once the brief is given to the agency, it'll change quite a lot in terms of the quality of their effectiveness, the quality of creativity. That's the first thing. Second thing, we are still, this is very much, I would say, a pie in the sky right now, but to see that if there is a creative that is coming, can we actually have the AI evaluate the creative and then tell me what is right, wrong? At least from the point of brand compliance, we are there. So it tells me whether I'm compliant with my branding guidelines. But beyond that, is it actually addressing every aspect of the brief or not? That's something I think it'll be a pretty interesting kind of a thing. Market research and consumer insights. In fact, in my book, I write that if you are still doing market research, you're wasting a lot of money, because the way market research is done is terrible today. You ask dumb questions, 40 of them, and consumers give random answers, and then you take that as the ultimate gospel, and then you go with it. So the key thing is, how do you really change that? And from insights, one of the biggest advantages we find is with disparate data sets. Like, for example, you talk of financial data and health data. To connect the dots between the two and come to some actionable insights is very challenging and humanly almost impossible. That, again, it's tremendously helped. So consumer insights or customer insights is another area I would see. So number of areas of these sorts is where I can see AI in general, and Gen AI in particular can make a lot of difference.
Yeah, that's great. Can you tell us a little bit about your your small business AI tool? What does that do, and what advantages does it bring your small business customers?
Yeah, so basically it all started in Poland. So what happened is, when Russia has invaded Poland, a large number of refugees or Ukrainians started getting into Poland, because Poland was welcoming them. But there were hundreds of thousands of people coming, all pouring into one city called Warsaw. And that started cluttering up the place very badly, crowding it up. The infrastructure was breaking down and so on. So at that time, our team had come up with some amazing idea. They call it Where to Settle. Not the small business AI, but the precursor to it, Where to Settle. So they created an entire app wherein you give information. It'll ask you, it's very interactive. So what experience do you have? Work experience, what family, how many kids, and so on and so forth. And based on your profile, it tells you where there are opportunities for you to settle in rest of Poland, so that you can decongest Warsaw. And 170,000 families have relocated to different locations using this app. Wow. And that's very meaningful. Yes. And the government of Poland then adopted it as their own app, and then started doing it. So it has won all kinds of awards and still continues to win. And we have been invited by the United Nations Security Council to go and talk about how we can help the mass migrations which are happening around the world. How do you make sure that it is smoother? And if migration has already happened, how do you actually redistribute the population so that the people are happy, the infrastructure is able to support? That led us to the next idea. Again, it started in multiple parts of the world are right now working on the solution. The Poland one is already out, is what we say is where to start a business for the small business. So suppose I'll give you an example and you'll get this. So if say I'm of Indian origin and I come into the United States and I want to start a business, it'll ask me a bunch of questions like, what is your background? What do you know? What do you enjoy? Do you know cooking? Do you like cleaning clothes? Do you like washing windows? Or what do you like to do? Are you technically qualified, etc.? Based on that, then it'll tell me, Raja, you should start a dry cleaning service. Then it'll tell me, you are from Cincinnati, which I am from. It says, maybe instead of doing Cincinnati, go to Akron, Ohio. If you go there, the government of Ohio has got a special grant available for you there. And if you want to apply for it, apply from within the app. Wow. And for the grant. Then it'll tell me, okay, what name I should have for my dry cleaning center? What should be my license? How should I apply for a license? What are the steps involved? Because I don't know, because I just came from India to a country and I'm starting my small business for the first time. I'm not educated. It'll guide me in a very simplified fashion to make it easier. So Poland has launched a version of this. And we are working in multiple markets around the world to create this, and this is totally based on AI.
That's cool. That's really awesome. One of the topics that's come up a bunch in our conversations internally at Perion and Undertone, where I work, and the industry on a whole is ethics. Obviously a big topic overall, but specifically starting to become one within AI. So how are you guys ensuring that your implementations are, inclusive, non-biased, and ethically sound?
Yeah, see, I think our focus right from the word get-go is to be inclusive, not in theory or not as a political soundbite, but to really live that value. And we partner with a whole bunch of companies, organizations, which actually advise us, they guide us, and they check things out for us. So therefore, we know for a fact that what we are doing is not just from our own siloed view, but there are experts in this space who are actually giving their perspective and making sure that we are approaching it in a very inclusive fashion without any bias, and to the extent that it is possible, that's what we are trying to do. And so far, the experience has been nothing but terrific.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, I think that that's such a big part of it. We're seeing it in all of our conversations as well. So one more question before we open up to you guys for any questions you have. But what advice would you give marketers and advertisers that have been hesitant to utilize and implement AI into their strategies?
Yeah, see, I think first and foremost, education is the most important thing. If you don't know what it even is, I think you'll be floundering, and you don't even know what to do, right? And today, anyone and everyone comes with a pitch saying that my solution is powered by AI. And when you try to understand how exactly is it powered by AI, there is not much of a substance. But then you should know what questions to ask. And if they give an answer, to make sense out of it, saying that are these guys bluffing, or is it fluff, or is it substance? You should be able to discern between those two. You don't have to become you will not probably become an AI expert. But at least to the extent that you can grasp the basics and enough to be able to ask the questions and understand the answers, I think that investment has to go. You cannot delegate this knowledge to your team and say, my team will take care of it. You have to lead from the front. You have to really learn. And in fact, I keep telling my team, which is to invest in themselves, to educate themselves in each one of these areas, whether it is AI, tomorrow, God knows how Apple's Vision Pro is going to shape up. But you need to know how augmented reality is going to work, and if metaverse is going to come back from the dead. There are so many things that we need to understand and their impact and how to leverage them. And AI is exactly that category. But the way, the speed with which AI is evolving is so dramatic that I think you need to put a disproportionate amount of involvement and investment in terms of your time, because there are a lot of free courses. One of those courses, again, if Shelly is here, he has one, AI for executives. And that's something which I found extremely helpful. And then start going from there, from the basics, and start getting deeper and deeper into the field. And the more you get into it, you realize how powerful it is. And that is going to be your secret power, our superpower.
Love it. Awesome. All right, so thank you so much. That was very insightful. Appreciate it. Wanted to open up for any questions that you guys have.
We have mics, so if you have a question. Juggle.
Double.
You go first.
Me?
Yeah.
You go.
No, you go first. Why don't we have the same questions?
Oh, that's embarrassing. Hello, thank you so much. With AI sort of solving a lot of the issues that you've had historically, whether it's speed or the type of content, how has that impacted sort of the qualities or the characteristics of the staff that you build around you now, that sort of evolution has happened in the output of the work you're getting out there?
Yeah, I think, at this stage, we have not built out any staff per se. If you asked about 3 months back, people would have advised me to go and hire a lot of prompt engineers. But today, I don't know if prompt engineers is the right way to go, or something else is, or maybe the machine will prompt itself. I don't know how the whole thing is going to evolve. I ask a very simple question, but it knows how to ask itself the exact right way so that I get the most meaningful and compelling answer. I don't know. So the key thing is, at this point in time, we have not invested in AI specialists within the company as in within marketing. But as MasterCard, we have actually created a function called Data and AI. And there we are actually having a bunch of AI scientists. We are also having several companies that we have been acquiring with very deep AI capabilities. So what I'm trying to do is to tap into those folks. They are not marketing people, and they are in a different planet. We are in a different planet. We are trying to sort of do an outreach and then get them to support us. And right now there are like dozens of projects that they are helping us drive. And so we are sort of testing and learning our way. And so, but internally within marketing, we are not doing any staffing, number one. Number two, we are, however, starting to train our people, existing people. So existing people, the more you equip, because I'm blessed with an amazing, amazing and extraordinary team, which we diligently sort of, nurtured over the years. And we pride in the longevity of this team. And our turnover is fairly low compared to the industry average. And so these people, for what they are doing and for what they bring to the table, if you equip them with this AI knowledge, and not everyone might pick up to the same extent, but at least if you get people up the curve, and those people who are maybe having more aptitude towards this kind of a field, we will send them for more advanced and deeper programs. That's a plan. And we have just actually started, we have hired a very reputed company to teach us about AI, and that reputed company is Shelly Palmer. So that's how we are trying to, so did I answer your question?
Okay, hi everyone, I'm Britt from the Australian Open, so obviously very love MasterCard. Bring on Australian Open 2025. So a very similar question I have is, because you talk about how your marketing team obviously work with AI to write better briefs and critique creative, and whilst I'm completely for efficiencies, how do you ensure that you keep your marketing team curious and not just reliant on something that is automatically generated or provides you a really robust argument, but you lose that kind of human curiousness, if you know what I mean? Like that's what I'm really worried about, because I think we don't want lazy marketers. We want smart, very interrogating marketers.
The blessing I have is I don't have lazy marketers.
Well,
I have crazy
do it.
marketers, which is really good. These are a curious bunch, extremely creative. They take pride in their craft, and they have been creating magic. No, I'll take a walk around this whole place, for example, and just see the obsessiveness with which the branding comes through, the thematic integration. You can, on one hand, you can say this is, spending a lot of effort and money on things that don't matter. That might be one view of a typical classical finance guy. But when you look at it from our point of view, every opportunity is there for you to reinforce what our brand stands for. It's all about curating experiences that money cannot buy, right? We had, for example, a choice. Should we have a massive, because the space is there, we said, should we actually have maybe 1,000 people attend? Or should we actually have a very small, curated, intimate sessions, as an example? Now, we opted for this latter because exactly to have the kind of meaningful and deep dialogues. Back to the point is, one thing I'm not concerned about is my team getting complacent and non-curious. If at all anything, it's the opposite, and we really encourage, say there, go, freak out, have fun, and they do. So, and again, we handpicked people over years, and those who did not fit, they left the company. But the people that we have got and very stable over the last 3-4 years, outstanding team. One of the best I have ever seen anywhere.
Love that. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
I've got a question. I was just, it's been super interesting, but I was wondering, we're talking a lot about the back end and non-consumer facing stuff. How do you make sure that you're still, your card holders still have that personal touch of actually maybe talking to a person, between that and involving AI to make it so, because I know sometimes you call in and you never get a person. So how do you make sure that you manage that, keep your cardholders happy, but also keeping ahead on the technology side?
Yeah, two things. Firstly, as MasterCard, we don't directly manage consumers, the card holders. We are a technology platform which is used by the banks to issue cards. So the banks are the one who deal with them. Now, having said that, you raise an important point. Like even in the world of the chatbots or the IVRs, nothing can be more annoying than them. Because I'm asking it something, and that it responds to me something which doesn't make me happy. It's maybe irrelevant, it's the same standard answer which doesn't get to the bottom of my issue that I'm having, etc. It could be very, very painful. So one of the things that we do is we have another area called experience design. The consumer experience design group, actually they focus on those areas, and they go with their solutions to the banks and tell the banks, we have done a lot of research. Here is a what you call plug and play kind of a solution for you guys as to how you can deal with your consumers. So that's how we go about it. Otherwise, our direct interaction is more to our customers and not to the consumers.
Great. Well, thank you very much. Appreciate it so much.
Thank you so much,
All right,
Rob.
thanks, Roger.
Appreciate it.